Okay, I think we are live. Yeah. All right. What's up, everybody? In today's video, all right, you're getting two videos today. Okay, what I want to do is I want to slowly start going through the books and materials that are behind me on this shelf and share them all with you. It's going to take some time, and I don't even think we're going to get to anything there today because I pulled one out already and it has me a little bit shook. And I was like, you know what? I just want to go live and share this with all of you. So that's what we're going to do. I got this little notebook. It says Penny for Your Thoughts from a friend back when I was in college. This is like 2014, I believe I received this as I think a birthday present. It's an old, just like Kate Spade, like notebook. Kate Spade, may she rest in peace. She fucking killed herself. I don't know why I'm laughing, but yeah, it says Penny for Your Thoughts, and my friend crossed out the UGH in thoughts, so it's just Penny for Your Thoughts, because thoughts was like a powerful popular word back in the day. And this is just filled with like quotes and words and just like little one-liners that I collected that year. The whole thing's not full at all. I should probably go back because I feel like I'm wasting all this paper. But there's like a good amount of material here. I just wanted to share all of it with you. This is where my head was in 2014-ish. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go through here. The first page, I must have been like on something because it just says 12114, my high thoughts. And it just says, hit the bong, then tell me I'm wrong. And then Jesus isn't eating. Why are you? Hashtag Lent. I don't really know. But I'm just gonna start to go through these. I hope some of them make sense because a lot of these quotes had a very profound effect on me at the time, and maybe they will affect you similarly. Sorry, my cats are deciding right now that they're gonna run around. Let's see. It says, change is the essence of life. Be willing to surrender what you are for what you could become. There's this word here. It's, I believe, French. It's Fete. I think it's pronounced fat. It means to honor or entertain lavishly. The next word, I believe, is also French. Soigne. Soin. It says possessing an aura of sophistication in dress, manner, or design. Anodyne, a painkiller or medicine. Maudlin, self-pityingly or sentimental. Imprecation is a spoken curse. Axiomatic means self-evident or unquestionable. It's this next thing says marijuana legalization in the USA led to the rise of heroin coming from Mexico. The purity increased due to Colombian cinnamon cooks. Again, I don't really know. This is just like random quotes and stuff, so we're just going to go with it. This next one is a quote from Antony de Saint something. I butcher pronunciations. It says, if you want to build a ship, don't drum up the men to gather wood, divide the work, and give orders. Instead, teach them to yearn for the vast and endless sea. This next one is from Diana Vreeland. There's a couple of hers in here. You got to have style. It helps you get down the stairs. It helps you get up in the morning. It's a way of life. Without it, you're a no. And I'm not talking about lots of clothes. Where Chanel came from in France is anyone's guess. She said one thing one day and another the next. She was a peasant and a genius. Peasants and geniuses are the only people who count, and she was both. This next is a Dior quote. It says, respect the joy of chance. The next one is from Tom Ford. The first step to beauty is understanding the architecture of your face and then creating balance and symmetry by applying light and shadow on flawless-looking skin. This next one's from Gemma Collins on the BBC. It says, tea and coffee is everything, babes. The ecstasy also became absolute suffering, and I was infinitely grateful for both. I like people who dream or talk to themselves intermittently. I like them for they are double. They are here and elsewhere. That's a Camus quote. This one's kind of interesting. Normcore is a unisex fashion trend characterized by unpretentious, average-looking clothing. Normcore is a portmanteau of the words normal and hardcore. K-Hole, a trend forecasting group, referred to normcore as an attitude, not a particular form of dress. It was intended to mean finding liberation in being nothing special. This I'm not really sure. It's just numbered 1, 2, 3. It says 1, is it really that deep? 2, do I need to make a situation out of this? 3, if I do make a big deal, what would be accomplished? I'm not kidding you. It's just like a whole bunch of like random words. This is from Andy Warhol on Bianca Jagger. Monday, December 6th, 1976. At the dinner table, Bianca took off her panties and passed them over to me. Can you hear the geese? Okay. Melancholy is a sensual pleasure that is deliberately provoked. How many people shut themselves away to make themselves sadder, or to weep beside a stream, or chase a sentimental book? We are constantly building and unbuilding ourselves. Best friends tend to have secret code names for people they dislike. Things I tell myself at 5:46 a.m. Even in a room full of people, want yourself first. This next one is a quote from Tory Burch. Is Tory Burch still a thing? That was like all the rage like 10 years ago. Personally, I don't really like the concept or even the word brand. And then entrepreneur. I was just giving a talk at Stanford, and the students were saying, I want to be an entrepreneur. And I was saying, well, that's fine, but what are you passionate about? If you think you've reached your fashion climax, try throwing away your favorite pair of jeans. This next one I love. It's from Karl Lagerfeld. I also hate to be too friendly with over-established people who talk about themselves in third person and things like that. I know so many people like that. This next one, it says, hen ek duoin. It means 1 out of 2. And this is a preface, I guess, to Aristophanes' speech from Plato's Symposium. It says, the creation myth places humans of all 3 genders, androgynous, male, and female, in a primeval state of eternal bliss. However, we grew insolent and refused to properly honor the gods. As punishment, we were split in 2. Those with a male nature, the children of the sun, became homosexual men. Those with a female nature, the children of the earth, became lesbians. And the androgynes, the children of the moon, became heterosexuals. Navels are the souvenir of the operation we all went through in being divided from our other half. The myth warns humanity to honor the gods, or we will be split in 2 again, hopping around on just 1 leg. Part of properly honoring the gods is to search for and find our lost half, to be restored to our natural state. It says, never accept a marriage proposal from a man in open-toed shoes. He's either gay or a gypsy. This one's interesting. It says, is God willing to prevent evil but not able? Then he is impotent. Is he able but not willing? Then he is malevolent. Is he both able and willing? Whence then is evil? I think that's very interesting. This is from Truman Capote. It says, the halt happened because I was in a hell of a lot of trouble. I was suffering a creative crisis and a personal one at the same time. As the latter was unrelated, or very little related, to the former, it is only necessary to remark on the creative chaos. Now, torment though it was, I'm glad it happened. After all, it altered my entire comprehension of writing, my attitude towards life and art, and the balance between the two. And my understanding of the difference between what is true and what is really true. It says non sequitur, a conclusion that does not logically follow from the previous argument. This is from a quote from an episode of The Batman, I believe, and this is from a character called the Scarecrow. It says, fear is a chemical process that has a fitting and logical place in the science of biological evolution. But to study on the science of fear is to miss the fantastic foothold it has in the doorway of the irrational. As living beings, it is only appropriate that we should fear pain and death. Our deep-rooted fear of one another, however, is a little more difficult to explain rationally. Are we truly, as a species, inherently mistrustful and unkind, or have thousands of years of evolutionary coding left us justifiably competitive and aggressive? Is it truly the unknown nature of our neighbors that terrifies us so, or is it rather the secretly known nature of ourselves? For years, I have been learning to control and manipulate fear, and I confess that at the heart of it was the desire to eradicate fear from my own life. Do you know what I finally discovered? Though it is simple to bring on, you cannot escape from fear, for fear is not a delusion. You are a sentient mortal condemned to die, and time is against you. And someday you will be forced to embrace fear for the quiet and meaningless truth that it is. I don't know, I find this kind of interesting, but this is again, my 20-year-old mind. This is a quote from Balenciaga. It says, elegance is elimination. In 1998, Christian Lacroix's fashion house produced clothing for 28 weddings, which was an extraordinary number considering a couture wedding gown costs over $150,000. Catacankerous, it means often angry and annoyed. The Belle Epoque, comfortable life before World War I. I love the Belle Epoque era so much. I love most of 19th century stuff. If we only knew how to stop waiting for all the things that are not meant to arrive, then perhaps some of us would finally let go and learn how to fly against the wild wind. This next one had a very profound effect on me, and it continues to this day. It's a Rumi quote. I'm sure you've heard of it, but it says, when I run after what I think I want, my days are a furnace of stress and anxiety. If I sit in my own place of patience, what I need flows to me and without pain. From this I understand that what I want also wants me, is looking for me and attracting me. There is a great secret here for anyone who can grasp it. Pastiche is an artistic work in a style that imitates that of another. Indefatigable, persisting tirelessly. There is no need for suffering. God is here. This is a quote on packing. The ritual of the idea of the order of the suitcase is what was paramount. There was a routine, maintenance, polish, discipline, and order to life. I think this refers to back in the old days when they would travel, especially with their clothes and stuff, how they organized for that was so different. They just didn't throw everything in a suitcase. Everything was folded and then wrapped in tissue paper, and everything was, oh, take me back to that time. It's such a whole different approach to life. It says, imagination pushes you and fuels you to create your own problems, to resolve your own resolution and create a world. I love the clothes from Chanel. Everyone thinks of suits when they think of Chanel. That came later. If you could have seen my clothes from Chanel in the 30s, the dégradé gypsy skirts, the divine brocades, the little boleros, the roses in the hair, the plaited nose veils, day and evening, and the ribbons were so pretty. A woman dressed by Chanel back in the 20s and 30s, like a woman dressed by Balenciaga in the 50s and 60s, walked into a room and had a dignity and authority, a thing beyond a question of taste. I'm not speaking of the late Chanel, who amused herself by dressing the streets of Paris when she reopened after World War II. She wanted to She wanted to see her suits all over the place. They say she showed her clothes to the copyists before she showed them to the customers or the press. She had reached the point in life where she had done everything, and she had to amuse herself. Gabrielle Chanel and Helena Rubinstein stood like men and talked for hours. I'd never been in the presence of such strength of personality. Both of them. Neither of them was a real beauty. They both came from nothing. They were both so much richer than most of the men we talk about today, being rich. They'd done it all alone. Of course, there had been men in their life that had helped them. But they had earned every cent they made. You ask if they were happy. That is not a characteristic of a European. To be contented, that's for the cows. But I think that they were, at least when they were in power at the wheel and when they were running everything. And they did. These two women ruled empires. I believe Helena Rubinstein, she started the brand L'Oreal back in the day. I could be wrong. Okay. Through the inner body, you are forever one with God. And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to bloom. All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. That one's pretty popular, I think. This is a Camus quote. You will never be able to experience everything, so please do poetic justice to your soul and simply experience yourself. The minute I heard my first love story, I started looking for you, not knowing how blind I was. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere, they're in each other all along. This is Persephone leans into Hades and kisses him. She whispers, "For love, I will handle your sins, and for justice, I will show you mine. I sleep at dawn and wake up when the sun is high. I have traveled to the divine springs, to the damp thighs of a dark goddess. I have brushed against the aquatic fog, stroked the sand of the desert. To escape closing your eyelids is enough. Oblivion, you hear? Oblivion is to rule." I'm learning the universe is reactive. It doesn't push you to win or lose. It doesn't view you as good or bad. It just amplifies what you feed it. Why, hello, Oscar. What are you doing up here? Hey, you're going to step on my keyboard and you're going to shut down the stream. Who do you think you are, mister? Who do you think you are? Sorry for the interruption. What are you doing? It says, to hate is an easy, lazy thing, but to love takes strength everyone has, but not all are willing to practice. I yearn for happiness, I ask for help, I want mercy, and my love says, look at me and hear me because I'm here just for that. What holds people back the most is their perception of themselves. If one thinks they can't do something, they won't, but you can do it all. A strange passion is moving in my head. My heart has become a bird which searches in the sky. Every part of me goes in different directions. Is it really so that the one I love is everywhere? I love the brisk taste of wine on my tongue and the burning color of blood, of pomegranates. Crimson moves me. Crimson makes my heart beat like an adolescent's. The red of liquor, of muscles, of wounds, of your mouth and your cheeks. Desiccate, it means to remove the moisture or lacking interest, passion, or energy. Tawdry means showy but cheap or poor. Perfidious means deceitful and untrustworthy. This next one is a quote from Possession by A.S. Byatt. It says, they took to silence, they touched each other without comment and without progression. A hand on a hand, a clothed arm resting on an arm, an ankle overlapping an ankle, as they sat on a beach and not removed. One night they fell asleep side by side. He slept curled against her back, a dark comma against her pale, elegant phrase. I think that's the last one. Yeah. So I gotta fill this up again. I should like use some of this paper. But yeah, those were some of my thoughts in like 2014. What the hell? Now you can understand how crazy I am. But yeah, I want to go through all of these books on this shelf at some point. I guess we could knock a couple of them off at the top shelf, or should we rather this little this little box, this little bitch. I think it just has, yeah, crystals and like little knickknacks. I'm not like a knickknack person so much, but this is a bean, a bean that I got in Key West years ago. It says, "I am free." This is an amethyst crystal. Crystals are so fucking gay, but they're pretty. Here's some fool's gold. This I got at a little like flea market vintage store in San Francisco. It's like a Egyptian beetle, I guess. It's probably cursed. I don't know. Here's a huge piece of what I believe is citrine. The camera probably doesn't pick any of this stuff up well. Here is like some sort of like Celtic jade cross thing. I kind of wanted to put this on a necklace at some point, but I'm not sure. Here is a little Chanel pin. Here is a Roman, it's like a coin. I think it used to be a part of a necklace, but it has two faces on it. It's the Roman god Janus, I believe. Two faces for a past and a future, the good and the bad. Janus, I think, as in January. Yeah. Here's another little Roman coin. I believe this is Aphrodite on it. Here's a key I have that says courage on it. Again, you probably can't see that. I have no idea why I feel called to share this all with you, but here we go. I think it's because I have to clean all this stuff up eventually, so might as well start now. Here's a penny that I found on a railroad track that's bent. That was kind of cool. We all have a little curve. Some more little crystals. Crystal. I think this is another amethyst crystal. More citrine. This one, you've been following me way back. I was living in my cabin and it was in the middle of winter and it was so dry that like I could wear this on my forehead and it was just like it just stayed there all day. And I remember oh my gosh, this guy like came out of the woods on the corner of my property. It was the most bizarre thing. It scared the shit out of me. I don't know where he came from, but I was walking around with this on my face at the same time. And that led to like a whole other story that I don't want to get into now, but it's kind of staying right now because I have a huge fucking forehead. But here, some of the stuff is like little things from my grandmother. A little cross. Here is a dove with like a Maria heart thing. There's a lot of little ones like that. I love. You can't even probably see this. It's like a heart with a bunch of thorns around it. Here is. It's like a Hindu elephant. I'm pretty sure that's Ganesha. Hare Krishna. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Ganesha. Here's some organite. Here's another crystal. I'm not really sure what that is. This I got from a model, a friend who's now a very famous model out there. I'm not going to dox her, but she gave me this. It's like a cross with a piece of turquoise in the middle of it. Love that so much. I have other little pieces of stone and stuff. Here is a piece of copper from the Upper Peninsula in Michigan. That's another fascinating thing. I should go back up there and film some stuff because it's wild up there. But they argue that most of the copper from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan is what most of the copper from the Bronze Age in the Mediterranean is from. So they argue there was like transatlantic communication or something. I don't know. But this piece of copper has like a nice weight to it. I hold it often when I'm doing live streams with Satcha, just to ground me, you know. Let's see here. Here's another piece of citrine. Oh, this one's cool. This one is not going to pick up on the camera, but it's like, I think it's petrified honeycomb, but at the same time, I don't know because there's all these crystals in it. And I found this out in the, not necessarily the woods, but like out in the nature brush area. And I remember when I saw it on the ground, it was just sitting there. And I had the craziest experience because I'm pretty sure I dreamed it. I don't even know how to describe this, but as soon as I picked it up, I remember, like, I feel like I had a dream where I, like, went and part of me, like, set this out there for me to find, like, years later, and then I finally did, I don't even know how to describe that, but it's one of the coolest things I've ever found, and, I don't know, it's, like, hexagonal, like, it's so freaking cool. Love that so much. I guess we'll just talk about this is from my grandparents' farm. It's a huge Clydesdale horseshoe. Um, we have a little sound bowl. My tarot cards. Here is my Sabian symbol book, which I refer to often for degrees and such. This is The Secret of the Golden Flower, a Chinese book of life, translated and explained by Richard Wilhelm, with a commentary by C.G. Jung. This is a very good book, very, very good book. I love like Lao Tzu and all of like the Tao type of reading. But what fascinates me about this is I have like a lot of like, I think the word is semanticists, people who like understand language and etymology and are like masters of all of it. Um, how you can take like Chinese words and then translate them and still pull much of the poetry out of them. How do I even explain this? A lot of times when you translate stuff, so much is like lost in translation. But um, especially with like Chinese or like Far East writings, translating them to like German or to English, there's like so much that's lost because of just like the cultural differences. But Richard Wilhelm was a fucking genius and he did such a nice job. He's translated so many different things. But I think that is such a talent that goes far beyond stuff I can even understand. The Book of Life, um, or yeah, the Tao Te Ching, one of the Lao Tzu books, is like translated into English so brilliantly. It's honestly remarkable. I have no idea how they do stuff like that. And a lot of this stuff it doesn't necessarily translate when you read it out loud orally. Uh, you kind of lose a lot of it. I learned this with like reading Truman Capote, how they like will write the words and the shape of the word itself. And when you put them together, when you're reading it and looking at it, there's like a poetry and a beauty just in how the words and the letters look on the page. Um, I don't know. I like stuff like that. Um, this is I don't think I finished this book. I think I got quite far, but it's very, very heavy and very, very Latin based. This is Psychology and Alchemy by C.G. Jung. I love Jung. The foreword for this book is remarkable. And I think maybe at some point I'll just like read this because it is one of the most profound things I've ever read. And profound's not the right word, but just like genius. It's just talking about like Christianity in the modern age and the soul and stuff like that. And this is the foreword for this is excellent. This is the Missoni family cookbook. Missoni is an Italian brand. They do really good like knits and sweaters. And this is just a whole bunch of recipes that I'll never probably ever make because I'm not a big Mediterranean cuisine person, or maybe I just don't have much experience with it. 'Cause I do like seafood and stuff, but I just thought the book was pretty. Um, this is a gift I got from Sacha, actually. I believe, yeah, Sacha gave this to me. It's a book on Catherine the Great. Love that. This is the Native American Herbalist's Bible, which has just a whole bunch of stuff on like herbs and sacred stuff in Native American culture. Love that a lot. And then this is a big book of fashion images, John Galliano for Dior. It's not my favorite one of the Dior books. There's another one that I'm not even going to try to think of the title right now, but there's a different Dior book of the collections that is, the photography is unreal. And I definitely recommend that one over this one. But yeah, so we're just going to like slowly get through the rest of the books on the shelf. It's a lot of Jung, it's a lot of Eric Neumann, it's a lot of Camille Paglia, it's a lot of like occult esoteric books. A lot of Truman Capote, a lot of what else is over here? Emerson, just like art books, more Truman Capote, and then some like old school books like Alice in Wonderland, etc. But yeah, I just thought, what the hell? I might as well explain some of the stuff in the background of these videos. I don't even know if any of this is making sense, by the way. I was just like, oh, I'm going to turn the camera on and read some of this stuff. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy. Oh, there's someone watching. Jeremy, what's up, Jeremy? Love you so much. She was fearless and crazier than him. She was his queen, and God help anyone who dared to disrespect his queen. Like that. Derp McDerpson, what's up, brother? Hell yes, Young. Carl Hung. Yeah, there's a lot of Young in here. There's a lot of other interesting stuff that we'll get to eventually, but I just wanted to start with that, give you a little teaser, and we'll go from there. But anyways, I hope you all have a great weekend. You know I love you so much. Bye.